guys, it's Xay-Kun and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be giving you recommendations of my top 7 favorite yaoi manga ever. So for those of you who don't know, I am not the biggest manga reader, but I have read quite a few mangas in my day. And one of my favorite genre of manga is yaoi. I live for yaoi. Everything about it, the romance, the chemistry, the atmosphere, everything about yaoi strikes a chord in me. I can stay up all night and have stayed up all night just reading various different yaois and fan fictions as well. In fact, I think I've actually spent more time reading fan fictions than I have yaoi. So take with that what you will. But anyways, I'm only doing 7 because that's the most that I can come up with right now when it comes to my top favorites, and they will be in order. So number 7 is going to be a pretty common yaoi. Even if you're not that well known or into yaoi, you might have heard of Janjo Romantica in the past. Now if you're new to yaoi and this is your first time trying to get into the genre and you're looking for something that's stable and something that's well received, I guess, by a multitude of people, this is the manga to go with. It is actually, to my knowledge, the longest running anime series of a yaoi, and that just goes to show how good it is. Now, the reason why it's number 7 is strictly because we're talking about manga, because if we were talking about anime, it would definitely be much higher at the list, mainly because it's such a long-running show, and it only has 3 seasons, but hey, there are a lot of amazing shows who can't even get a season 2. So the fact that this anime has 3 seasons is something else, and here's to hoping for more. Janjo Romantica is about a regular high school student preparing for his entrance exams to university, and to relieve the stress of studying and relieve the stress that it gives on his brother and stuff, he decides to take the help from his brother's friend. But little does he know, girl, that he's in for a fucking whirlwind, bitch. His brother's friend, Usagi, or is it Usami? His name is Usami, but he calls him Usagi because Usagi means bunny, I believe, and if you watch the show, you know that Usami is obsessed with bunnies. But anyway, so Usami is in love with Misaki's brother, Takahiro, I think. If I got that right, give me my brownie points. But yeah, he's in love with Misaki's brother, and basically his heart gets broken one night when he announces his marriage to his girlfriend. So Misaki, out of the pity of his heart, he's pissed, and he's like, bitch, you just broke this man's heart, what the fuck, that's so fucked up. And he basically cried with Usagi or Usami. Either way, it doesn't matter, you can call him either one. He's known by both in the anime. So anyways, and after that, Usami starts to develop feelings for Misaki. And then basically after that, that's when the show starts running, and the show basically becomes about their relationship and how it develops, and we see Misaki slowly but surely falling for Usami, and it's just such a cute fucking series. Now, if you're like me, when I first watched it, especially since I was so new and so fresh to the scene with yaoi, but which, mind you, Janjo Romantica is typically the starter anime / manga for starting yaoi viewers. So that's another reason why I recommended this as your first. But when you first start off, if you're like me, the age gap kind of threw you off a bit, because you're kind of what is this old ass man doing with this young ass nigga? Now there's actually a relationship that gets introduced later on that has a much bigger age gap that just honestly grosses me the fuck out. It's disgusting to me, and I don't understand what's the appeal. I don't understand the appeal to such a huge age gap between men, but there is one, and I swear it's only in Janjo Romantica. I also haven't read every single yaoi out there, so who knows? The age gap did kind of throw me off at first, but considering the age gap of the other relationship that gets introduced later on, and just the cuteness of Misaki and Usami's relationship, you start to get used to and over it. I mean, still to this day, I just finished watching season 3 recently, and still to this day, I still get kind of like question it a little bit, like, isn't this guy like old? But I'm pretty sure their age gap isn't that big, if I believe. Definitely not as much as the other relationship. The Junjo Romantica series, which it's like this for the spin-off as well, it usually has the main overarching love story, and then it has like a couple other side love stories that have slight like threads into the main love story. Like they're slightly connected in a way, but not exactly. I'm pretty sure the love story with the huge age gap actually has nothing to do with Misaki and Usagi at all, to my knowledge. I just watched season 3, but to my knowledge, what I can remember, they don't intertwine at all. But there is this other love story, which I actually, when I first watched Junjo Romantica, I loved the second love story between, I think it was Kamijo and Nowaki. Yeah. The love story between them, I actually loved way more than the love story between Misaki and Usagi. And it was mainly because of the age gap. And let me just tell you, that second love story is just so fucking cute. Like, it's so adorable. I don't want to go too into detail because they're not the main focus of the show, but they basically, their story is about how like Nowaki finds Kamijo crying outside, and I guess it was like love at first sight, and he's like, man, I need to take this guy under my wing. And he like tells him, come with my friends, come on. And then after that, he like wants to be with him all the time, and he starts developing feelings for him. He eventually expresses them. At first he like declined them, I think, and then like he eventually like developed feelings for him back, and then they got together, and then Nowaki just disappeared for an entire year. And then come to find out, he went to go study abroad in America, and then he comes back a year later like nothing happened. Like, bitch, what the fuck? I would be pissed too. So then Kamijo wants nothing to do with him, and he's just like, bitch, bye, bitch, the door. And like, I don't blame him. Like, I feel bad for Nowaki because Nowaki's so like adorable, but like, bitch, where do you think you can just, after lunging for this nigga, you just got him and then you just leave. And then it comes to find out that Nowaki actually had tried to tell him multiple times that, or at least once, I don't know about multiple times, but at least once he did try to tell him about like his plans of going, but like Kamijo was like not listening because he's like a professor at a university, which I think he ends up being, actually, I don't want to spoil that, but he ends up being, no, I'm not even gonna say it, but he's a professor at a university. Hint, hint. So he had a lot on his plate. He wasn't really listening to Nowaki, so Nowaki just left. And then that's just, we get to go through their relationship issues and see them developing the love and then trying to like reconnect and redevelop that love. And it's just, I just love the purity of it, because I feel like that was kind of something that Misaki and Usagi kind of lacked. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw season 1, it almost felt like borderline molestation at some points. But by season 3 of the anime, oh my gosh, I was shocked how like confident and how much he sees himself as Usami's lover. So he definitely ends up like warming up and like loving Usami back for sure. But everything just takes time. And that's how it really is with all yaoi. Except the rushed ones, it's mostly about the fucking. But we can get to those types of yaoi later. Number 6 is Hidoku Shinaide. And forgive me if I'm botching these names. I'm not that good with Japanese. I've just seen a lot of fucking anime and have read a lot of fucking manga, so I use my best, use context clues, and try my best to pronounce things the best way that I know how. this manga is basically about a scholar named Nebugasa that has just been warned by one of his advisors that if he doesn't pass the next test with like flying colors basically, that he's gonna be like kicked out of the school or whatever. And although he's a very smart kid, the anxiety of him being required to pass the next test like with no mistakes basically like causes him to resort to cheating, and no other than Maya-kun. So basically he ends up blackmailing him for the use of his body, so he won't tell the principal what the fuck happened. So basically how this starts off is basically rape. And you might be a little bit thrown off by that, or a lot bit thrown off depending on like your tolerance for things, but honestly, that is how a lot of yaoi is. And it's kind of fucked up, but it's the truth. That is how a lot of yaoi is. It usually, for some reason, they have like this thing where it always starts off as like rape, or not, even if it's not necessarily like rape, it's like borderline molestation. Like they're definitely forcing themselves onto the other person. And I don't necessarily like endorse that, but at the same time, how the stories usually end up is like they end up falling in love, and they end up it's just the way that the stories go is that the beginning doesn't end up mattering. And that's basically what happens in this story. We get to see how their relationship develops from like a punk kid who like doesn't listen to the rules, trying to bully a scholar student, to him developing feelings for the little scholar student nerdy boy, and the nerdy boy slowly, very slowly but surely, starting to develop feelings back for him, and then they end up in a full-blown relationship, and I think they even end up going to college together. This story honestly is so cute, but I feel like the way that it started was so like poorly cliche that it's the reason why it's so low on the fucking list. But the overall story itself is actually very cute. The way that we see their relationship develop, it's a very sexual story, which a lot of yaoi tend to have. Like they let loose in the manga. Things like, look at Love Stage, for example, like things that they do not let slide in the anime. If you want like the full course meal, bitch, just read the fucking manga. I feel like the biggest reason why this manga hasn't even gotten an anime is because there's like no way they can cohesively piece it together without all the sexual shit that goes on, because it's a pretty damn sexual manga. So if you like that kind of stuff like I do, that is perfect. But if you don't, then this may not be your cup of tea. But if you're interested in yaoi, you must be interested into that aspect of things, like what goes down in the bedroom and stuff. Bitch, I see you. We all fujoshis here, no need to be shy. Come through, girl. But yeah, that manga ends up being very fucking cute, and their relationship actually ends up being very fucking adorable. And it's always like thrilling to see like one of the couples getting like jealous of the other, and then it's just like, it's just so adorable. But it definitely doesn't start off that way. So if you can bear through the beginning, this actually ends up being a very cute love story. Onward to number 5, Love Stage. Now this used to be one of my favorite, if not at one point my favorite yaoi manga of all time. When I first read this manga, something about it just like clicked with me, because I felt like I identified with Izumi a lot. How he's just like this closed off otaku, and a very feminine looking boy, and like how like a straight person could like fall in love with him. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I identified with that a lot, with that aspect. This story is about a 18-year-old college student whose dream is to be a manga author, even though he sucks at it. And he's part of a rich and famous family. His father's a director, his mother's like a film star or director, and his brother's the lead vocalist of a popular band. So his family's definitely all famous, and then there's just Izumi who's this little old otaku who wants to be like a manga artist. Like, it's so cute and so adorable. And one day when they were little, I think what had happened was one of the actors like couldn't be in the shop for whatever reason. So Izumi's mother had Izumi take her place or whatever. So they threw on a wig on the kid, fucking gave him a dress, and had him play out the scene with Ryuma. Mind you, they're kids. So they had this like their little kiss scene. It was like based off a wedding, and they were shooting a commercial. So 10 years later is the anniversary, and they want to refilm the fucking commercial with them 10 years later. So it's like Izumi's big day, and Ryuma's there, and Ryuma's like a huge, like, big actor now. He's a huge star now. And they're basically going to do this commercial again. So they, like, I guess they kissed or whatever. Or maybe they didn't kiss. I forgot if they actually kissed or not. But anyways, the point is they did the commercial, and then Ryuma ends up finding out that Izumi's a boy. And he's shook because for the past 10 years, he's been in love with Izumi. He fell in love with Izumi's eyes, which is kind of random, but he just fell in love with Izumi as, like, I guess as a person, but mainly like his eyes. He would always say, like, I remembered your eyes. And like, Izumi's like, or no, it was his brother, was like, well, sorry to break it to you, but Izumi's a boy. And he's just like, what? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? And he basically goes off. But what happens is that for some reason, he can't shake off the love that he feels for Izumi, even after finding out he's a guy. So he seeks out Izumi eventually because he wants to confirm that he doesn't like him. He basically wants to see him naked to confirm that he doesn't like him, because he wants to see all of him, to see that he's really a boy, so he can like finally start having feelings for him. And basically that doesn't go as planned. Their relationship eventually develops into a friendship, which then develops into a relationship because Ryuma was there for him when he needed him the most. And when I just tell you this is the cutest yaoi story today, like, I would probably have to say out of all the fucking stories on here, this is probably the most adorable, like the most cutest. Like, it's so fucking cute and innocent, and I just love everything about it. Yes, there are sex scenes in it. It is a yaoi, not a Shounen-Ai. So there are some like love scenes in it, but like even the best movies have sex scenes. Like, chill. If you're not fond of that, I don't know what to tell you, because this is a top 7 yaoi list, not a top 7 Shounen-Ai list. I'm still holding hope for a season 2 someday. Like how you just gonna stop. Number 4 is going to be Recipe no Oji-sama. This fucking story will always be dear to my fucking heart. It's such a short manga. It's like only like 6 chapters or something. It's very, very short, but when I tell you, it gives me all the feels each and every time that I read it, to the point where it outdoes such like much longer manga with much longer chapters. It outdid Junjo Romantica and Hidoku Shinade and even Love Stage. And now if you beat fucking Love Stage, that is some shit. That is kudos. That is some props. So this manga to me definitely means a lot. It's about a second-year culinary student named Kei Sakai, and he basically has this dream of like opening up a little restaurant and making food that touches people's hearts like his grandpa had, and his grandpa did. But it's kind of not going as planned because he's starting to come to school fatigued every day because he has like it's a 3-hour distance from where he lives to his school. So he thinks that it's gonna be a struggle until a classmate basically tells him like, hey, there's this place that's being rent out and it's like almost too good to be true, the price, the distance, everything. And basically it kind of was. He's met with 3 other roommates who are like complete slobs, and like they're all gay, mind you. Even though like they don't know that, except one, Yasuhisa, girl, you a queen. But he has 3 other roommates, and he's basically living there, and we get to see like his interactions between him and his roommates. And as the story goes on, you basically start to see his relationship develop between him and his other roommate Shohei. And let me just tell you, this fucking relationship is too fucking cute. It is so adorable to see how they just like the way they support each other and uplift each other. Like, yeah, you're gonna do it, you're gonna meet your goals. Shohei's goals are basically to become like an actor, a big actor. And for right now, he just does like odd jobs, and then Kei finds himself like interested in him. Like, where does he go at him? Where does he be going? And then like they have a few little accidental run-ins when like Shohei comes home drunk, and he like goes in Kei's bed and like cuddles with him, and he's like, I want some food, cook for me. And then like, I don't know, their relationship slowly but surely starts to develop into something so beautiful, so fucking cute. And then it all builds up basically to like the last or the second to last manga chapter, which is like it's the conclusion to the story, but I think the actual last chapter is like a prologue. It's kind of weird. The build up and the relationship and just everything about it is so adorable. I just wish it would have been continued, because we only got to see what happened before to when they became partners. So like, it's like, bitch, I want to see after. I want to see them being all lovey-dovey and cute. I want to see them fuck. I want to see them fight. I want to see everything. Like, how you just gonna stop here? Like, it's so sad. This manga was so fucking good. And it was, just like Love Stage, it was one of my favorite fucking yaoi of all time. In fact, these top 4 mangas that I'm discussing, including this one and the last one, Love Stage, were all my favorite yaoi of all time. At some point before I like discovered the next one, basically, or like really fell in love with the next one. It's literally the epitome of short and sweet. It's so cute, so adorable. It just builds up so much, and it's so like organic. It's amazing. Read it, please. Number 3 is going to be the legendary Sekaiichi Hatsukoi. This series is amazeballs. It is fucking amazing. This series, just everything about it, the development, the fucking rush, the fucking resistance. It's like, this series will literally have you like on the edge of your seat, like, oh my gosh, are they actually gonna? But you still kind of get satisfied at the end, so it's like weird. It's so weird.
Chasing,